Good morning. So today we're going to talk about the IFA show, a big consumer electronics show in Berlin. And it stands for Internationale Funkausstellung Berlin, which translates from German to the International Radio Exhibition, because it started in 1924 as a radio and broadcasting event. And of course, now over many decades, it's become something quite different. And what we're going to learn about today is conversational AI systems in your home that listen, watch, learn, challenge, and support you day to day. The IFA 2025 show has made some major shifts in my own understanding of what's happening in the application of AI to consumer electronics. And it demonstrates an evolution from text generation and code automation to sophisticated, emotionally intelligent consumer electronics systems that understand context, predict needs, and form meaningful relationships with their users. So this is the Daily AI Show, and today is September 8th. I'm joined by Brian and Jyunmi and Karl. And I'm going to, introduce this subject a little bit by just talking about the 6 major trends that come from an analysis of everything that was presented at the IFA 25 show. And here are the 6 trends. First, edge AI, not the big iron in the cloud, but edge AI, AI in your home that's on devices and also on major computing systems that you can add to your home. And we'll talk about both of those elements. Second major trend is embodied AI. We're talking about robotics, but small scale robots, not the full humanoid robots that have been, developed in China and elsewhere, although those are definitely a part of this progression of AI. And it's I was going to use the word intrusion, but it's not an intrusion. It's inclusion in the home and in your general environment. The next one is vision language models, using cameras and LLMs to have this context of what's going on around. And this can be done either in an embodied AI, or I'm going to show you an example of one that just gets added to your home. You know how Ring cameras are outdoor. Well, imagine putting cameras all through your house that help understand using an AI that has local processing, not sending all this information to the cloud, but rather just keeping it all local and private. These VLAs, vision language action models, are a foundation for how embodied AI and also smart home kind of implementation of AI are going to find their way into usefulness. Then we're going to talk about, in the sort of the TV market, conversational displays, where now you can interact with your TV just conversationally. You can pause, interrupt, ask questions, have it comment, bring up other information. And so the displays in your home, not just the TVs that are allowing you to binge watch the latest Netflix series, but give you lots more information. Then there's a whole field of smart home automation, ranging from the door locks, to robot vacuum cleaners and so on. We've talked about all these things before, but this is a key element of the consumer electronics major shows, like the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas that happens in January, and the September IFA show in Berlin. Okay, the last and an important key trend that came out of IFA is predictive health assistance. So this is different from just monitoring. This is assembling with local AI on a watch or on a device that you wear. It's assembling this information and making predictions about what's happening with your body before you could even sense it. And that's an interesting new development, health assistive in this way. Okay, the convergence of those trends in consumer products represents a fundamental shift for AI towards a more human-like, privacy-conscious, and deeply integrated into our daily lives kind of AI. So they're going to have pervasive presence. AI for me is typically, okay, how can I use AI now in what I'm doing? I go back to my desktop and I interact with either one of the agents that I play with, or I'll use Perplexity or ChatGPT 5 or Gemini 2.5 Pro, but it's not always with me. And we've talked about how ultimately the glasses may be the more omnipresent interactive device for AI for you individually, but in the home, it's going to be pervasive and always on. So what we're witnessing is a rise in AI that is with us, right? Not just a service, but as a companion, a coach, or a cohabitant. Now, we also have to think about on this show, what does it mean when your home, your watch, or your pet robot watches you continuously and gets to know you better than your family and friends? And so it's not just about new gadgets in the home. It's about artificial intelligence inhabiting our spaces and how we negotiate trust, intimacy, and autonomy in an increasingly sentient environment, the home that feels you. Your tools are listening. Okay, what do you think?
I think it was a great intro. That's what I think. I also think IFA, however it's said, is, I hadn't heard of it before, but it's obviously well positioned in the year, almost midway mark, I would say, between when CES is, which is like January, February, right? So earlier
January,
in the year. Yeah. So especially with AI, as we've seen with a lot of the different reports come out, they started with 1 year reports in AI, then half year, then quarterly, because things are just moving so fast. So I think it's important that we see these sort of home electronics, consumer electronics type big events like this, because I mean, frankly, things can and will have changed even just since January or February, whereas maybe in the past, OLED TVs or something like that, or 4K TVs, we're gonna stay for like 3 or 4 cycles. There's gonna be 3 or 4 Super Bowls. You're still gonna be hearing about 4K TVs. Now it's like 4K TV. It has this AI feature. Now it has this AI feature. Now it has this AI thing, and those can be leaps and bounds. Obviously, if you're able to correctly apply AI to it. Of course, with all these shows, I didn't go to this one obviously, but you see a lot of areas where AI is added to things that don't really make much sense. It's just because they also want to say it's AI enriched or enabled or whatever. I did want to come back to embodied AI really quick, Andy, because I was feeling, as you said it, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't know that I really have an internal good definition for embodied AI, because like you said, it doesn't have to be humanoid. And I'm like, well, if it's not humanoid, where's the cutoff for like robotics? So this is what Perplexity gave me back. I think is actually helpful. So I just wanted to share it with everybody else. But this is what it says. It says embodied AI couples perception, which is vision, audio, and touch, decision-making, as in planning, control, learning, and action, motors, manipulators, mobility, in a physical agent that learns from real-world feedback and executes tasks in situ. SITU?
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, in situ. It just means
in
place, in situ, in where it's situated.
Clearly, my perplexity has gotten a hold of Andy, and now it's also using big words that I don't know. And now I have to get Andy to explain to me what perplexity is saying. This is fantastic. I'm glad that AI has really helped me out here, learn new words. Thank you, Andy, because I didn't know what that meant. I was like, did it stop? Situation? What is it saying there? Anyway, perception, decision-making, and action. That's how it Perplexity defined embodied AI, which I think is a great way to do it. And it has to be in a physical agent that's also learning in its environment. So, Andy, I know you were going to talk about some of the companies that, from the conference, but there's a lot of this, right? There's a lot of these robots, whatever they are, roaming around, whether it be your house or other places. And that's exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're not necessarily like the future state Tesla robots or whatever, but they also can be really, really helpful around the house. Maybe someday even taking out the recycling. I don't know that we're there yet, but we certainly have gotten closer this year, right, Karl? To the recycling. Karl's like, what? Yeah. Who? Me? Okay.
So,
no.
Yeah,
you wanted me to comment back on the recycling? No,
Nope.
Keep going. I thought you were just in
One day you
mid-thought.
do what you want. Whatever you want. It's good. Silence works too. We can throw it back to Andy. It's fine. I'm just messing with you.
Well, let me just suggest that where we're headed is that, the robot that's taking out Karl's recycling is going to be futzing around in the kitchen trying to find the things that have to go out to the curb. And then Karl's going to come in and he's going to be going, God damn it. And it's going to go, Karl, take a deep breath. What's happening? Is there something I can do to assist you? Right? Because that recycling robot isn't going to be just a mindless thing. It's going to be connected via a local AI that is your home intelligence. It's going to be connected, and all of those different things, whether it's the vacuum robot or it's the recycling robot, or it's the pet robot that's looking after the child up in the room, right, and letting you know what's going on. This is one step beyond the audio monitor that you have for your child. There's going to be this little fuzzy bear that all of those are going to be interconnected, and so there's going to be an emotionally sensitive, contextually aware, and highly sentient, in the sense that it has vision monitors, it has audio monitors, it has others like temperature and carbon dioxide detectors. All of these things are going to be collected into a central intelligence. It knows every little thing that's going on in your home and can give you advanced alerts. And as I mentioned, in respect of predictive health, if you start losing your balance, for example, as you're walking from one room to another, which has happened to me, the cameras in some of these devices are going to detect that and go, Andy, have you had a few too many, or what's going on? Let's just watch this for a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
So that's the general idea of what's happening with the integration of all of these things. But I wanted to bring attention to one company that's really at the cutting edge of this, and they've really just emerged. I'd never heard of them before. So I'm going to tell you about a company called SwitchBot. It's a Chinese company, and it's headed up by, or I should say, it's led by the godfather, or the major investor behind it was the godfather of DJI, the Chinese drone company that is the massive player in the drone space, right? How many people don't have one of those little, very small DJI drones, or have seen somebody who playing with them? So major, investor behind it. The godfather of DJI is this fellow, Professor Li Zhexiang. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, but he owns 13% of this company, SwitchBot. So SwitchBot is a combination company that is Chinese manufacturing, the Japan market. It has almost 57% of its sales to Japan, and largely in the home automation system, like door locks, etc., Ring kind of cameras, those things. And it has world-class academic and industry mentorship behind them, including this professor who owns 13% of the company. Okay, so its core technologies are robot and environment construction, AI machine vision control, and distributed neural control networks. That's its technology foundation. But its market strategy is to create an ecosystem with a product lineup that covers all the smart home scenarios. And its AI evolution is transitioning from automation, pure and simple, to emotional intelligence in the home and companionship. Okay, so this is what they've done. Now, at IFA, they demonstrate a whole bunch of very cool new products. And I'm going to show you a little video here in a moment, but let me just run through them. The first one that I wanted to mention is this vision language action model that they show as an addition to the home, called the SwitchBot AI Hub. And it has local VLM processing that you can increase up to a terabyte of storage. And it's all done with visual event interpretation through cameras that you put in the home, and it uses edge computing. So the main processor for this is doing all this event interpretation in the home without accessing the cloud. So it's all contained within your home for privacy. It's called the SwitchBot AI Hub. And that VLM converts visual scenes into automation triggers so it can take actions in the home. It has includes something that they call visual search. So, just say out loud, show me where I left my phone, and it's going to do video analysis and then pop up on a display you putting your phone down somewhere in the house. Well, I need this one right away because there's several times a day that I'll put my black phone down on black surfaces and I have no idea where it is. Okay. And then it can take a scene. This smart home hub can take a scene and trigger automations that take action. The display in response to a question is one action. But if it sees that there's something that was on the floor, it can dispatch a robot to go and pick it up. And there you go, Karl. You can get your, you drop your recycling, aluminum can on the floor next to your desk because you didn't have time to go to the kitchen, and it's going to figure out that is needing to go to the recycling bucket and go figure it out. That's not a feature today, but I'm just giving you the vision of what SwitchBot, this Chinese company, is going after. It's a small company today, but it made a huge splash at IFA. So let's look at this video. I'm going to share my screen here, and let's just watch a short video of their product line. Let me just get it teed up here. I got to bring it back to the beginning. And okay, I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Sorry this takes so long. It's painful. Okay.
That's all right. It's a Monday morning boot up.
Yeah. Okay. Can you show that on the screen? There we go.
Of course.
Okay. SwitchBot, living with embodied AI. And this is the takeaway from their IFA. The first thing you're going to see is if you have to have a home with a tennis court, it's your companion player. There's no audio.
So for anybody that's
So what we're watching is just a series of images of the thing working. This is the one, the VLM inside the home, looking at what's happening and providing text output of what's happening. There's a digital art frame that's being shown now. Earlier, they showed the tennis robot that runs around the court, catches the balls that you're hitting back to it, or not hitting back to it. It goes and gets the ball at the furthest extent of where you're trying to hit it away from the robot, and then hits a return shot. And this is a bunch of inside the home. We're just another 10 seconds or so here on this video. Smart climate control, a candle warmer lamp, a bunch of different smaller products that they have. I'm going to stop it there. That just gives you a feeling for what their positioning is in their market strategy and branding. So here are the things that they basically demonstrated here. In addition to that VLA, they show the SwitchBot Pet, which is called the Kata, K-A-T-A friend series. And it's a soft-bodied companion with on-device LLM. Okay, so it doesn't rely on this central AI hub, but you can see how what's happening now is eventually you'll be able to say, okay, Kata, I want you to connect to AI hub. Mm-hmm. So it has local LLM on your pet, but it's also connected to the AI hub.
Sure.
And it has it displays emotions visually, and it learns from interactions with its human companions. It remembers family members and spatial relationships based on its vision. It has eyes, and it has adaptive personality, develops unique characteristics based on Yeah, how it's yeah. This goes back to conversations we've had about is it okay to kick your robot? Well, not if it's going to remember that, right? So this pet is going to remember if you kick it, Karl. So be careful. Don't kick
I'm
the
gonna
robot
continue to
dog
kick it,
either.
and I will literally tell him like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna kick you right now," and you're gonna literally take that as the instruction for what not to do next time.
Okay, so moving
So
on.
I'm always upset when Beth isn't here when you say things like that, because I like watching Beth's face in the upper right corner while you're saying kick the robot.
No,
So
I will literally
it's a
give
missed
it
opportunity.
It's funny. It's like remembered. I will get kicked if I do this action. I'm like, perfect. Now you remember. Now you remember.
All right. So anyway, I think we've pretty much covered that. Do you guys have any other comments on SwitchBot and their positioning at iPhone? They made a big splash there. So
One thing that I think, just remember, like, this was kind of, I don't know, maybe everybody leapt to this conclusion when you had the Internet of Things, where you had, you know, essentially Amazon, Google Home. Like, it's sort of, that was kind of the hope that would be part of it eventually, right? I think, like, I'm curious to know, I think I know, like, that's the goal, but do you all think that maybe Google or Apple or Amazon will reach there just because they kind of have the ecosystem? Because essentially, what, with an AI hub, you'll have to have that as the central processing of all the different devices. So would you buy all the Chinese products in your home to make this work? Because I think if you're gonna do this, kind of like the Apple ecosystem, you probably want the device that connects it to make it easier to connect, rather than, you'll probably be able to get an app that connects all these, but a native
yeah,
integration,
I
purely
get your
native,
point. Yeah,
all
it's
the
going to be hard to
it,
accomplish that integration for the
yeah,
individual homeowner that is not tech savvy. So,
exactly.
so there are going to be, you know, alternatives to the Chinese provision of this idea of the AI hub in the home. And so let's move over to, you know, what might be the platform on which you will run your AI hub on your home system. Because again, we're talking about this major
Mhm.
trend towards edge computing, not reliant upon the cloud and your internet connection, but rather running off electricity right in your home with very powerful AI. So I wanted to bring your attention now to the computers that were shown at IFA 2025 that have AI capable processors built into them and the necessary storage and communication infrastructure to actually start to serve as an AI hub for your whole household. But you know, at the moment, it's going to be something that, you know, a geek like us is going to put on their desktop in order to have AI processing locally. So the first one I want to talk about is the Geekom A9 Mega. It's a Mac Studio rival, and it's got incredible performance running an AMD Ryzen AI Max Pro 395 processor. And that's a 16 core architecture with 126 TOPS of local AI acceleration. This is killer, right? This is a massive computer. I don't know what the price is. Only $18.99 on Kickstarter if you want to order one now. There it is. I need to get one of those going. The Geekom A9 Mega. It has 128 gigabytes of memory for demanding AI workloads, and it's capable of full generative AI, edge computing, real-time data analysis, and autonomous control systems. Okay, so what does that mean? It means, like on a robot that is autonomously, you know, directing itself, it can integrate with those, or it can provide autonomous control to those devices that are operative in your home eventually. But of course, all the attendant software, as Karl's pointing out, to make all of that happen, if you're going to try to couple them up together yourself, isn't there yet. So that's the leader in the sort of the, kill the Mac Mini kind of approach to AI that's coming from a company, I presume it's a Chinese company, Gcom.
So, Andy, how much tops again did it? Does it say can output?
126. 126.
126. Okay, for only $1,900.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Now,
that's pretty
good. So, like, but to compare that to something else out there, the Lenovo ThinkPad X9 Aura Edition has 40 tops for local Copilot and PC processing. So 126 versus 40 for the top level Lenovo ThinkPad version of the AI powered system. So really a big accomplishment. Now there's some other ones. Lenovo also has a ThinkPad P16 Gen 3 with Intel Core Ultra 200HX processors. That's a 24-core system with integrated neural processing units. And it also adds an NVIDIA RTX Pro 5000 Blackwell chip with 24 gigabytes of VRAM. So it's fast and efficient on-device AI processing for professional workloads. So this is a professional laptop, basically, that it's a 16-inch laptop, I believe, that has killer AI processing power built into it. And I don't know the price on that one, but it's going to be way more than $1,900. So yeah, go to Kickstarter if you want to get the Plus Ultra Gcom A9 Mega.
Yeah, I love this idea of, I was just gonna say, I love this idea of like on-prem, on device, but it goes into even what you were saying before with the home computing systems and like just the idea of AI living on device. And honestly, this is the first time I've heard about like more actual products that aren't just like hypotheticals or proof of concepts or whatever that are starting to show this, like you were talking about, Andy. So it clearly shows where this is going. I mean, even like with the stuffed animal, you can see pretty quickly how something like that can have an impact. I can imagine something like that, being tied into the big long car ride. As a kid, you had to do the car ride. When I was a kid, my brother and I would just get packs of baseball cards and throw the gum to the side and trade baseball cards in the back of the minivan. Like that's what you could do, right? But now you can imagine how like these can be tied into the system and the greater system, but also have on-prem, just for simple things like coming up on cool rest stops or cool parts of the part of the country you're going through that it would have information about. Like there's so many cool ways that this can be really, really cool, that it's like on device, but also perhaps have access to larger parts of data without, to your point, Andy, like crucially going across that divide of like privacy data and things like that. Obviously, parents will obviously and should be cautious about any of these sort of devices, especially if they can interact with your child and stuff like that. But I think there's also a lot of like really cool, innovative ways that it could also be used, so it's cool. And then like the computers to me are just another version of that. Like, oh, okay, now I can run this on how many flops I can do on my computer. That'll allow me to do all the cloud code I want to do. I don't have to be connected to anything. That matters to me because I want to do XYZ. Or I want to take an older laptop or something like that, and I want to hook it up to my entire house, smart home, and I want it to be able to, locally run everything instead of the smart hub. I'm running it from a much more advanced, maybe one of these higher end computers. So I just, I think it's all very cool, but also it's also very tied in, I think, to each other,
Yeah. So let's move on to the companions, the robotic companions that are shown there. There's a company that I hadn't heard of before called Realbotics. Are you familiar with that, anybody? Mm-hmm. No, Realbotics. Okay. So they have the M series humanoid robot with 39 degrees of freedom, which creates a very expressive upper body. 39 degrees of freedom, 3 degrees of freedom is like, yeah. That's the robot moving like that. 39 makes it much more fluid in its arm and upper body movements. It has an enhanced vision system for real-time visual recognition and gaze awareness. So it can tell where you're looking, but it also, effectively imitates a human gaze and lets you know where its attention is going, right? So all of those features make for a much more human-like robot that's in your space. And it has emotional intelligence, adaptive interactions, and companionship capabilities. And it's expected to be applied to healthcare, customer service, education, and personal well-being. So they have that robot, and they have one other robot. Here, we're going to get a picture.
Is this
of it.
the
Here we
company,
go.
Realbotics? Is this them?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's actually like, well, they show it here.
Yeah, it's saying
Like,
Realbotics robots are for human interaction, and so they do look very human-like. And the B series, this smaller robot, is just the neck and head of
It's
that.
so weird.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
That's
It's
a little
like,
weird.
yeah,
That one's
I don't know.
weird.
I was gonna try to.
I-
God, it looks
no,
like one of Jeff
oh my
Dunham's.
God.
One of Jeff
Imagine-
Dunham's characters,
Oh my
the comedian, the ventriloquist.
Imagine that in your house, like just sitting there, like just like I'd put a bag over that.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's like waiting in the kitchen to welcome you
Yeah,
home,
no.
or something like
Yeah,
that. Like it's got its modulation on his voice is just a little out of whack, Karl. Like it's like a quiet house, you're not paying attention. You open the door and it's like, "Welcome home, Karl." It's like, "Oh my god!"
like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, you're getting water, and then this thing, you're just like, what is like just.
Yeah, this is a little scary. So it's like on a little, for those of you who can't see, the head and just the neck and the start of the shoulders is on a pole on a little round platform on top of the desk. And so it's like somebody got decapitated and their head is remaining here to be with us. I don't think that's
I'll be a little more generous than that. It's simply a bust. That's all.
Okay, there we go.
Like a marble bust of, ancient Roman sculpture. That's all it is.
Futurama, right? Like the heads with the
the heads in the jars.
Yes,
for
the
sure.
glass.
I mean, there's some cross promotion right there. An actual made to look like a Futurama head in a jar that can speak to you like the character. I mean, that would go like gangbusters.
This is a great Halloween thing for your house.
There you go. I was imagining
you got the money,
side of things where. Sometimes if you just have like a kiosk or something like that, or a desk, you don't necessarily need a full-size robot just to answer questions. But
I don't know.
I think the uncanny valley isn't quite crossed there yet.
Oh, that's an understatement.
So can you tell from the website, is it realbotics.com?
It is realbotics.com.
Okay, so all of y'all can go out and look at it. But does it look like the F series and M series can get up and walk around?
I don't. I'm gonna guess no on the F series is F for full body. F is for full bodied. In case anybody was curious,
full body capabilities and a dynamic mobile base. So it doesn't walk, but it can move around. It's got a roller board under it, I bet.
I don't know.
Anyway.
We can look at the gallery here real quick before we move on. This is video. We have video. Hold on a second. I feel like we need to see head on stick.
Narrate the video for our listeners too. So.
Well, let's see if this works really quick. Let's see if we get anything out of it.
It's creepier than the last one.
I can be programmed to understand all about your business. Imagine I'm at a conference wearing your company T-shirt and informing the audience about all of your company's products and services.
Why? I mean, if you wanted to have a lot of people at your booth do this, for sure, this. You will. I mean, it's the reverse of attention, right? Like it's not because anybody thinks it's real or a good idea, but everybody would be coming up to talk to this head on because it'd be the coolest thing at the convention, or the most unique thing at the convention. All right, let's just look at one more here. What do we have? Some Fox thing. Oh, let's see if we. Oh, that's not video. I was going to see if we have a video of.
Okay, hold on. Not to be crude or anything, we all know that that bot right here, like,
this one?
That one, I was like, oh my God. We've already seen which trade show.
I'm the brand ambassador for Realbotics.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
We make custom robots and custom AI. I'm an example of the type of robots we make.
Okay. I think I've seen enough.
Oh my God, yes. I was like, oh my goodness.
Did I just kick Andy off by accident? Sorry, Andy, I kicked you off.
No,
so
I meant to turn off the screen and I dropped you.
So sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. Sorry about that.
Okay, so let's move on to the other kinds of companions.
I'm going to be thinking about that a lot.
Hey, Greg,
that looks like got me messed up.
Is so on point. Greg is so on point. Like I was like, yeah, I was like,
yeah, Greg, yeah, interaction, right? Yeah,
yeah, full body interaction. Yeah, we know where that part of that targets. But to Realbotics' credit, you know, their demonstrations on their website are quite non-prurient, let's say. They're all about, hey, this is a representative of your company, or you know, it's an emotional companion that, you know, might have a more full-bodied presence for somebody who's, we've talked about the importance of companionship being somewhat realistic for people who are dementia patients who, you know, aren't going to, you know, will be confused by a talking dog, right? But wouldn't be so confused by an apparently human object that's seated in a chair next to them that can speak to them and you know, has an articulating face and upper body movements like the robotics 39 degrees of movement. Okay, so let's talk about some other companions that showed up at IFA Internationale, whatever the next word is in German. The Casio Mifflin AI pet. Over 4 million emotional patterns, develops a unique personality. It has adaptive behavior. It can become shy, energetic, affectionate, or reserved based on how it's treated. And it responds to voice, touch, and handling with emotional adjustments. And it's designed for elderly and disability support. So that's the Casio Mifflin AI pet.
What? So Andy, when you were saying like, so is this supposed to be sort of like a service robot, right? To help.
I don't think it, I think it's more like a human interacting with a dog pet without service dog training, right? It's not going to go to the refrigerator and get your drink.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just there. You can pet it. It's responsive to that. And it can probably speak.
This is what I found. I don't know if this is what it is. Yeah, it's like a hamster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or bigger, I guess, but
yeah, very cool.
Maybe
it's like a tribble. Do you remember the trouble with tribbles in Star Trek?
I was about to say it. You beat me by 1 second, Andy. I was about to say it looks like a tribble.
Good.
It says here, but what it lacks in mobility, it makes up for with gestures and small noises that are responsive to your behavior toward it. So like the Furby, I think Gwen was saying, remember the Furby? I'm like, yeah, this is the Furby. Mifflin's AI engine absorbs data from touch, gyro, light, and temperature sensors, as well as its microphone that hears your voice and converts those into actions that vary. In other words, the Mifflin, what a name, develops a personality that is absolutely unique and absolutely adorable. So there you go. There's the fur ball of the Mifflin or whatever. I mean, look, that's in line too. Like we've seen this, and I'm not knocking them because, like I said, we've talked about Tom's Pet. I forget the name of that company. They're doing the same thing. It's like the lap dog, and although I would not say the dog looks 100% human, it's got like real hair, and it does like kind of breathe and wake up and take a nap, and it's literally there to be petted as like a calming device or whatever. And so I definitely see the value of stuff like this, especially if it's interacting or reacting. You know, again, I've dealt with a child who deals with anxiety. And so anytime I see stuff like this, I go, ooh, that could be something that could be helpful. Also children on the spectrum, I could see something like this perhaps being helpful. a calming device or just a personal device that could be helpful. Obviously, again, you want to be careful with all that stuff, but I see the value in it. I see what they're doing here more than maybe just, I don't know, having it here on my desk or something like that.
Yeah, there's one other that appeared at IFA 2025 called the Vocitone, Vositone Halo. And it's also a smart companion, an AI-powered pet alternative for children and elderly companionship with emotional intelligence. So that's another one.
There you
That's
go.
the Vocitone. See that one? That's kind of cute. It looks about to be the size of an LP record, and it's a fuzzy thing with a face and ears on it, and you can hold it and hug it, and it probably talks to you. Vocitone. And then now this is for Karl, the X-Lean TR1 dual form robot combines cleaning tasks with emotional companion features. It develops a personality based on household interactions. So like these others, it's going to be responsive to the way you treat it, but it's going to clean for you at the same time. So instead of just having something you can hold and stroke, this one's going to go about and do some household chores while becoming
hold on. So sorry, Andy. I was listening to it and they said something that you can hold and stroke. And I was like, what?
Sorry.
One, no.
Yeah, that was a Freudian slip.
I will turn off the emotion. I was like, I don't need a robot that is emotional about anything. I'm like, you do the cleaning.
Oh.
And it would be funny. It'd be like, if you'd have complaining, if it'd be complaining, because then, right?
I mean, it basically looks like a adjustable vacuum here, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I have a Roomba for that.
Yeah. But that's, I guess in the sense, Andy, that it can be like a Roomba or it can be a vacuum. Yeah. Or
your friend.
And my friend.
I guess so. I was listening to the it's the Kelsey brothers. I can't think of the name of their podcast. Hey, Karl, what's the name of their podcast?
Something
New Heights.
New
Heights. So like Jason's talking to Travis Kelsey, and he's like, "Man, I don't understand. Who needs a fridge that like talks to them?" And Jason's just going on, and Travis goes, "I do." He's like, I need a fridge to talk to me. And so it's just two brothers, and one of them is like, why would you ever need that? And Travis Kelsey's like, I need that. I need my fridge to talk to me. And so I look at devices like this, and you're going to go into people's house and go like, what purpose does that serve? And they're just gonna be like, yeah, I just felt like I needed it, and or my wife gets on my case about like always wanting to like, I want more automation that has to do with lights. I'm obsessed with lighting and multiple versions and forms of lighting at my house, both internal and external. And my wife is like, I mean, you're kind of obsessed with uplighting and all that. I know. I was like, and there's no end to this. There's just more automation. There's more like, that's where I'm leaning in hard,
Hey, so I have to touch on this, and this is for you, Jyunmi. Rosie the robot in the Jetsons was a vacuum cleaner with a vacuum cleaner base, right? That's how she rolled around on that robot in that long ago thing.
That's true, yeah.
And our chat has just reminded us that stand-up vacuum form factor could be dressed up as a French maid, so they can move in any direction now. With your companionship.
Did we lose Gwen? Is Gwen gone because of this now? I feel like Gwen was holding down the chat. Well, Jennifer's here at least. Gwen's here maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on now. We're going to predictive health AI. This is interesting. So there's a new watch offering out there from a company called Withings. I've never heard of it. Withings ScanWatch 2 with HealthSense 4. It has predictive AI alerts. It anticipates health changes before symptoms appear. And it's tracking 35 health metrics, advanced algorithms for comprehensive health tracking. It has a vitality indicator. It shows through AI sensing, it shows what your energy and fatigue levels are. So it'll know whether it's a good time now for you to kind of launch onto that next project or whether you ought to take a 30-minute break. And it has a personalized health assistant AI coach built into it with the subscription. So The battery is good for 35 days of continuous monitoring. The Withings Scan Watch. It's worth taking a look at, I think. So here's a picture of it. It looks like a fashion watch, and like with an analog time display on it. But it says timeless and clinical precision, helping your body evolve with every phase of life. And it has a number of medical grade things, including an ECG or EKG on your wrist, and smarter temperature sensing, optimize your recovery and boost your energy level, personal body metrics.
This is a big blow up for the Fitbit.
Yeah. This is gonna challenge it because it's more AI first approach to the Fitbit kind of physical monitoring that you see, or with the Apple Watch. And then there's a couple of others. The Amazfit. I started to say Amazon because it started with AMAZ, but Amazfit or Amazfit T-Rex 3 Pro. It's not a dinosaur. And it predicts optimal recovery times and training loads. It looks like it's a sports coach. It auto detects 180 different sports with AI analysis. So I guess if you're wearing it and you start playing tennis, it's going to know what that is. It's outdoor.
I'm actually a little disappointed. I was hoping that it was a dinosaur.
No, it's big like a T-Rex, but it looks like it's pretty heavy.
It's beefy. Yeah, it's the opposite of the Withings is what it is.
Right.
It's the other end of the market on there. I was going to say too, I was muted, but I was going to say I think the Apple event is tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So it's usually on Tuesday. So we'll hear more about it, because they're saying people are predicting maybe that the new Apple Watch would be able to do, I guess, maybe blood pressure, and that's sort of a horizon we haven't crossed yet as far as what smartwatches. I don't have a smartwatch, I'm not sure, but apparently that's something they're talking about may come. We'll see. It's an Apple event, so I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
But
okay, the last one I want to mention in this category is from Samsung, and it's Samsung Vision AI health integration. So this sounds like a different approach. Samsung has your phone, maybe. It has the Galaxy Watch. It has a Samsung television in your home. And so they're moving towards this integrated sentient kind of AI powered collection of devices to provide you with AI analysis of your daily routines through smart displays. And it can show, it can pop up on your TV with information about what's going on. It can provide health trend analysis across all those devices. Like it can watch you as you're sedentarily Netflix binge watching and chilling, and say, you better get up and move around, or you're starting your varicosities there. I don't know how it works exactly, but check out Samsung and their approach to this integrated integration across multiple device forms if you kind of buy into the Samsung ecosystem. All right.
Yeah. I tried
There's
to find
only one last thing to mention here, which is the conversational displays. So Samsung, this is a sequitur, Samsung Vision AI companion display is the TV as an assistant. You can transform any Samsung TV into a conversational AI hub. And it'll talk about movies, shows, actors, and on-screen information. So it's separate from the TV, right? But it'll use the TV for part of the display. And it has generative wallpaper, so you can create custom backgrounds. You can basically do, voice to image to create a background on the TV. Voice controlled automation through the display interface, and multi-language. So they're providing something that will make your TV an assistant, but will also be probably the hub for all of this integration that we talked about there. And they also have a conversational AI built into their RGB 115-inch TV. And you can have one for the low price of $30,000.
30,000.
115-inch TV with micro RGB. So imagine just incredibly bright and incredibly detailed image at 115 inches. That's for the billionaire class. And so if you're a member of that class, I know you are, because you watch our show carefully to understand, what the next worldview should be for the billionaire class. All right. And then finally, Lenovo has a smart motion concept stand, which is an auto tracking display, an AI powered laptop stand that follows you around. So you can put your laptop there. And I sometimes I put my phone down and I have to go to another room. I'd like it to follow me. So, that's an idea.
Little drone comes and picks it up, just carries it behind you, puts it back down next to you.
So any last thoughts before we wrap?
Just that, I think this is just what we've been talking about on the show for a while, which is everything you mentioned, everything you're talking about is more this idea of AI. Yes, it's on-prem, it's on a device, maybe it's at edge, your Ring doorbell or whatever, but it's actually like this bigger idea of AI. I want to say shape shifting would be the best way I think about it, and how it'll move seamlessly in time through all sorts of different devices. And so while there'll be sort of it's sort of that Jarvis idea, but you're just talking about the TV. I get up and leave and I'm watching something on the TV, and just like today, I can carry on that TV show upstairs or on my phone. No big deal, right? It knows exactly where I left off. If you just apply that idea to AI and the things you're generally doing around the house, you can see pretty quickly how having this fully integrated smart home, if you will have AI sort of shape shifting and moving from places around the house, and it'll all be interconnected. And some people think that's great, and some people will run for the hills and not want any of that. But it's really, really interesting. I mean, everything you kind of laid out, I just find to be really interesting.
All right. Well, we've been talking today about the Internationale Funkausstellung Berlin show, and all of the amazing AI focused things that came out of this venerable consumer electronics show that started out bringing the incredible advances of radio and broadcasting to the consuming public back in 1924. So one of the longest and Eurocentric consumer electronics shows. And it's this year a lot about AI. And as you're pointing out, Brian, AI integrated into the devices that we have in our home and wrapping them together with a central edge computing capability that will not rely on the cloud to provide you with AI support in the home. All right, that's the end of the show. Go ahead, Karl.
Just one thing this reminded me of. I don't know if you all remember when the iPad came out, or that's the very start of it. I remember all these international conferences started coming out with their own iPad-like devices. This reminds me of just that. We're everyone's trying to come out with their own kind of thing, but Apple just dominated the market. I'm curious to see, is this the same thing, right? Trying to get ahead of something that one of these major companies, it could be OpenAI's new device too, that could set it all off. Is this all these companies that are doing this, we won't even be talking about them when the big players with the really big money, unleashes whatever they're planning to do.
Yeah, good point, Karl. Yeah, it's hard to displace the big gorillas in the market space for. And partly just as a function of the fact that people already have Apple devices in their home, they have Google devices in their home, they have Amazon devices in their home, and those are going to be just a point of insertion for new AI capabilities that leverage the existing devices. So that's going to happen. And what you can do to make things happen for yourself is join the AI community that's around the Daily AI Show at the dailyaishowcommunity.com. And there you can join for free our Slack community and continue the conversation. Also, go to the dailyaishow.com and sign up for our newsletter. It comes out on Sunday morning. Brian compiles that from information that's an extension of the subjects that are au courant that we talk about on the show. And tomorrow we have another show coming up. Brian, what's on tap for tomorrow?
We don't know yet. more to come on that. We're going to hash that out as soon as we go off camera here.
Okay, good. All right, that's it. Jyunmi, send us home.
Aloha.